Hello everyone. It is 2025. We are entering our eras. We are being delusional, but also we are being practical with our money. Now I know you might be like, ugh, Jen, I'm young and I'm broke and I just want to have fun. Look, you can still have fun and still budget and be practical with your money, okay? Snap out of it. If you're new here, I'm Jen Sierra. I'm a 20-something living in New York City, the world's most expensive city, working in finance. I've been investing since I was 18, and if you're looking to start budgeting and growing your money in 2025, I'm going to break it down for you as simply as possible. So if you're just starting your career and you're trying to figure out how to budget your money, especially for someone who's living in an expensive city like New York City, this video is going to be for you. However, I will say these general principles can apply to everyone, just adjust as needed. So I've recently been reading Rich AF by Vivian Tu. I got rid of the sleeve because, you know what, I don't like the paper sleeves. I just want the book itself. Okay, anyways, there is one thing I really like from this book. A budget is not a diet. It is not restricting yourself. A budget is building and allocating your money properly so you can have fun, but also be practical for your future. So this year, we are reframing our mindsets, building our money, even if we are making less than 6 figures and just feeling like we're scraping by living in New York City. Yeah. All right. Step number 1. Let's look at what your income is looking like for this year. Is it more? Is it less? Is it the same? For all of my corporate baddies, I would recommend you just assume a 2% raise. That is the bare minimum, unless you already have your letter telling you what your raise is. Although if you're not getting that 2% raise, it's time to go. Honestly, a 2% raise is kind of insulting, but if you're getting even less than 2%, it's time to go. I'm so sorry. You gotta go. All right. So let's read our pay stubs. We are going to have a gross income line, and then you're going to have your taxes, and then you're going to have your pre-tax benefits. So this is an example of what my pay stub looks like without the numbers because I ain't showing you guys that stuff. So the way we're going to break down our paycheck within our budget, we are going to assume our gross income minus the taxes as our income. Those pre-tax benefits, we're going to stick in the budget so we're able to see them and know that, okay, we are receiving these benefits. When I'm talking about pre-tax benefits, I am talking about your insurance, your gym benefits, your transportation benefits. I know not everyone gets these, so if you are one of these people who do, this is just going to be part of your budget. It's not that total number you're getting in your paycheck that is going to be your income, okay? So for this year, when I created my budget, I applied those percentages of that taxes from last year to my new income that I think I'm receiving this year. I actually don't know. Hey, give me a good raise. Anyways, and then that's how I determined what my income was going to be looking like in New York. Anyways, if you want to keep things simple, of course, you can always just assume that you're having the same paycheck. It could just be a practice round. And then once you do get your raise, then you can adjust your budget as needed. So what we're going to do is follow a 50-20-30 budget. Some people call it a 50-30-20, but you will see why I say 50-20-30. Now, let's be realistic. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, especially if you're just starting your career or you're living in a place like New York City where it is really expensive out here. If it's 60-20-20, you know what? That's fine. However, if you're getting into the 70 range, you might want to reconsider your jobs and what you're doing. However, what do I mean by 50-20-30? What that means is 50% of your budget is going to go to your needs, 20% of your budget is going to your investments and your savings, and 30% of your budget is going to your fun stuff. So first up, we have the 50% part of our budget. That includes rent, insurance, bills, all of your needs, and fixed costs that aren't going to be changing. However, I did include some flexible costs in here because they are things that I quite literally need in order to survive, such as groceries and doctor's bills. I took the average of what that amount usually is and put that in my fixed 50%. So if you're not at 50% and you're more at 70%, maybe reconsider where you're living. I know it is expensive to move, but if it works out for you in the long run where you're paying less in the long run, it will save you money. Also, maybe it's something as simple as your Wi-Fi bill. For example, when I was staying with my parents for the holidays, I noticed they were paying for a more expensive Wi-Fi bill. My dad is retired and my mom works in person. The only thing they do is watch Netflix and FaceTime their friends abroad. They don't need the more expensive Wi-Fi. So I called up their Wi-Fi company and I was like, hey, I don't think my parents need this. And I was kind of like, are you taking advantage of a retired man and an immigrant mother? Sometimes you have to play the emotions when it comes to corporations, okay? And I was like, they don't need this. I think we need to drop down their bills. So we changed their plan, and now I'm saving them $400 a year. 400 whole dollars. That's a plane ticket to somewhere. I don't know where, but that's a plane ticket for your next travels. All right, that's section number 2, investments. Some people do this last, but I think it's really important to do this first because I care about my future. Sorry, not to say that you don't care about your future, but it is more important than some people realize. So think about your future and your retirement right now. If I start investing at the age of 30 versus the age of 20, the difference is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? So trust me, this part is really important, really, really worth it. And I know this part might seem difficult, especially if your parents don't have a background in it and you're the first one doing it in the family. I totally understand it can be completely confusing, but I will try to make it as simple as possible for you guys. So some advice I got from my own financial advisor is that in our savings, our emergency fund, we should have 3 to 6 months of our money saved up. Now, I remember talking to someone in the past and they were like, why would I put my money in a savings account that doesn't grow when I can just put it in an investment account where it always grows? All right, think about it, guys. If the economy crashes, so does your portfolio. Of course, it's going to grow over time no matter what. But if the economy crashes, you lose your job and you don't get great severance, what do you think is going to happen? You need that emergency fund, okay? So I recommend in the beginning, you focus on saving 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And when I say your expenses, I mean that 50% fixed cost, like I need this stuff in order to survive, okay? So I started off focusing on that. And when I first started investing, I was literally putting in $30 a month into my investment accounts because that's all I could afford. That's fine. You're doing something. Pat yourself on the back. Now, when it comes to savings accounts, I highly recommend a high yield savings account because you get to grow interest on it. There is literally no catch. It's just a savings account with more interest, so you get more money and you grow it a little bit. So I currently use the Capital One high yield saving account, which is almost a 4% interest. I also have one with Bank of America that's not a high yield savings account, and the difference between the money I get every month is striking. I get $30 a month with my Capital One account, and I get 30 cents a month with my Bank of America account. Sorry, but $30, I can get a whole meal with that, okay? All right, we figured out our 3 to 6 months of expenses and our high yield savings account. Next account that we need to open up is a Roth IRA. I know, you're like, what's a Roth IRA? What the hell? Stop throwing all these acronyms at me. I'm sorry. I promise it's worth it. I promise. So a Roth IRA is an account where you can invest that money to use towards your retirement in the future. You can put in $7,000 a year up until a certain threshold in your salary. I think if it's about $140K as a single person, the rules get different, but I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you're making less than that. A Roth IRA, it is not hard, I promise. This is a situation where if you start at 20 versus starting at 30, the money difference is ginormous. So the word Roth is really important because that means you're paying taxes now rather than later when you're taking it out for retirement. My financial advisor said you very, very much need to do that right now with any options that you have, like your 401k. You need to do a Roth 401k. I will get to that in a second, what a 401k is. But taxes now are lower than they ever will be in the future. So what I did is I opened up a Roth IRA account with Morgan Stanley. What I did was request a financial advisor and they literally do everything for me. Now I know the idea of hiring a financial advisor sounds scary and it's probably like, oh my gosh, like wouldn't I have to pay them like $300 a month? No. You do not have to do that actually. All they do is take a certain percentage out from your account that you never really see the money leaving. I think one month they took $12 out of my account, but I don't really care about that $12 because you know why? Because I'm getting practically a 30% return on my Roth IRA account. I'm earning way more than I'm having to pay in fees, which is only on commission. So I'm gonna put a little blurb up here where Morgan Stanley explains how their fees and their commissions work. It's just a percentage of your money. It is not a fixed fee that sounds scary and daunting. Now, of course, you don't have to get a financial advisor. You can also open up an account with Charles Schwab or Fidelity. Neither of them have a minimum amount that you need to invest, but I still really recommend a financial advisor because it makes life so much easier. Literally, when I first started my Roth IRA account, I was 18 years old. I spoke to the financial advisor and he was like, okay, what are you into? And it was back in high school when Starbucks was the thing. And I was like,
oh, I like Starbucks, or I'm also an athlete, so I really like Nike.
And he was like, all right, let's just buy a few of those. So he bought some of that stock for me to grow in my accounts. He literally did everything. I just had to tell him what I was interested in and he figured it out for me. I didn't have to do any math. I didn't have to go into the markets myself and buy the stocks myself. He did that. And now I'm in a place where I'm earning a lot more money and I have now studied finance and I'm more in tune with what's going on with the markets. It's become a lot more fun with my financial advisor. And recently I noticed, oh, I still have Starbucks stock and I don't like that. I went to him and said, hey, sell my Starbucks stock and just get whatever you think is best. That's it. So I highly recommend getting a financial advisor because that $12 a month that you're sending them is going to save you so much time and so much pain trying to figure this out while they can grow your money themselves. Okay, so for all my corporate baddies, probably have a 401k option. Again, let's go back to the Roth 401k. Make sure you do that because you are paying taxes now, not later. That's what you want to do. Time value of money. Also, tax rates are much lower right now than they probably will be in the future. Take advantage of that, okay? Please note with a lot of companies, when they match your money into your 401k accounts, it's only up to a certain percentage. Also, you only get to keep 100% of the money that they matched up to a certain time period. And what I mean by that is if you stayed at the company for 1 year, you probably aren't getting 100% of what your company has matched. You probably need to stay for something like 10 years and then you get 100% of what your company has matched. So if you're looking at your 401k and you're like, ooh, I'm rich, I got $50,000 in there. That is not $50,000 of your money that you get to keep. Okay, so bear that in mind. Really important tip for if you have a 401k with your company, if you leave your company, that 401k does not come with you. You have to make sure you fill out the paperwork or whatever it is to get that 401k for yourself and transfer it to the next company that you were working with. Because if you leave your 401k, your company gets to keep that money and that is lost money. Imagine losing thousands and thousands of dollars. I'd be so sad. I would be so sad. And look at that. We got the boring stuff out of the way. We got our needs out of the way and the investments out of the way. Now we get to do the fun stuff. So 30% of your money is going to the fun stuff. Now, I actually break this down into two categories. One is the valuable fun stuff and the other is the fun stuff. What I mean by valuable fun stuff is that these are wants that I have, but at the end of the day, they have a future benefit and help me grow as a person in some shape or form. For example, I pay $155 a month for gym pass, and then I also pay about $100 a month for my trainer. That is a lot of money, I know, but it's really valuable for me because last year I was going through a bit of a difficult journey when it came to my physical health. And so I decided it was time to invest in myself and make sure I get back on track with my physical health and find love for movement again. And then of course we have things like content creation. It's a fun expense, but at the same time, I am growing money and I am building a brand with it. So it's important to me. So think about those things. What are important things to you that are valuable? Is it travel? Yes, some people might think that's just fun, but if that's something really valuable and important to you, then put it in that category. But guys, be realistic with yourself on whether something or not is important for you. The reason why travel is important for me is because I grew up with a dad who's fluent in German, a mom who's Indonesian, and if I wanted to see family abroad, like I need to travel. So travel is important for me, and I think it's an opportunity to connect with new cultures and experiencing something new and really understanding the people that we surround ourselves with. So for me, that's really important. But something like Amazon shopping, let's be real. What value is this giving me? How does it make me better as a person? It doesn't. But in your valuable category, I would also have something that doesn't necessarily have to have like a deep philosophical meaning like I just explained with travel, but it's just something that like really is important to you. It makes you feel good about yourself, like getting a matcha latte at a coffee shop every week. This is part of my valuable category, and you might be like, is a coffee really that valuable for you? Yes, it actually is, because something about sitting in a coffee shop just makes me so happy and just like I don't know what it is. So that is going to be part of my valuable category, even though it's something silly like a $7 drink inside a cutesy little cafe. But these are the things that make me feel rich even if I'm not rich. So it is valuable because I am feeling good about myself. So for you, maybe that is a basic $30 pedicure at your local nail salon once a month. Do it. If that's something that brings you confidence and makes you feel good, put that in your valuable category. Vivian Tu, in her book, she talked about the small and indulgent things that make you feel good about yourself and kind of make you feel rich even if you're not, to include in your monthly budget. So for her, that was getting her eyelashes done. And this is exactly what I mean by a budget is not a diet. A budget is about building, because this is again about allocating your money and putting it into places where you can still have fun, aka for me is getting my matcha latte every week, but still be practical about our future. And then we just have like the fun category where we kind of just like throw our money around and it's like, woo! I know not everyone can have this category, but if you can, put it in there. For me, it's Amazon shopping and like getting new clothes. I have clothes, I don't need new clothes, but like I'd like to get something new every once in a while. So I'm putting that in my fun category. Now, of course, everyone's in different situations and you don't have to take this advice to a T. Adjust as needed and take what resonates for you. If you like this video and you live in New York City or are looking to move to New York City, definitely check out how much I spend in a month living in New York City. But if you're someone who likes the idea of traveling but feels like they can't afford it, be on the lookout for my next video where I explain how I make travel affordable without needing to backpack or sleep in a camper van. So that's not for me. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!